So one of the artworks that I've submitted to the show um, is about what happens to me at night, and for some reason, a lot of times in the evening, I get more confused. Um, I'll get more tired. Um, I just can't remember things the same way at the end of a long day that I do in the morning. And so I started really thinking about that progression of what it's like to try to go through the afternoon, the twilight, and then the evening, and how frightening that is for me. And I started off by making a mold of just a ton of little tiny objects on the surface of a form that resembled kind of an abstract brain. And on the outside of this shape are just details. And since I had been drawing scissors from the makeshift drawing, I used scissors, and I used things that were around my studio and things that seemed to remind me of people that are important to me. So there's a bike chain that reminds me of my parents, who are bicyclists that are very healthy people in their 70s that, ride thousands of miles every year and everything. There's an image of a child, a baby, which reminds me of my son. He's not a baby anymore, but he'll always be, my baby. And then there's two hands kind of reaching towards the baby, which kind of remind me as, kind of, I see that as my wife helping me. She helps me in ways I can't describe, and she's there for my son and I both. So those are important parts of the artwork. So I made a mold of this brain, and then I cast it in porcelain, and made a progression of the three time periods of afternoon, twilight time, and then nighttime. And it really, what I was trying to show is that in the afternoon, things are pretty clear. There's a lot of contrast between the edges of things, and there's some definition of things. And that as the day goes on, it gets cloudier. And as the dark happens, literally, things slip away from me. And it's very frightening. So there's a lot of anxiety and fear associated with that. Making the artwork was a way for me to try to understand what this is. And I understand that other people call this sundowning, but that everybody kind of experiences this in a different way. And my hope with sharing the work in a show like this is that we can talk about it, and that we don't have to be afraid. It's not just me. I wish other people weren't going through it, but knowing I'm not alone is really huge. It's important to me to know that there's a community of people bigger than myself, and we can somehow learn from each other and help each other. It goes back to really what I like most about artwork as a child, was that here are these artworks that cross boundaries and introduce us to people we otherwise wouldn't know. So I hope that an exhibit like this can do that. That there's more things that we have in common than we have different from each other. And we can become stronger in knowing that about each other, I think.